Hello, ladies and gentlemen, friends. This is Kyle Moriarty. I'm here with my second in the bag. First one being 2 years ago. This is my third year on Team Latitude 64, so I figured to give you an update as to what I am throwing. A lot of it kind of similar, but there are some big changes. First thing, I'm now going between two different bags, two different sizes, the E3 bag and the Latitude Easy Go bag. This is the normal everyday tournaments that I know. I'll switch to the E3 bag for tournaments where I need more discs and more stuff, those longer rounds, bigger tournaments where I might lose things. But if I don't need a lot of backups or if I know what I'm throwing, I'm going with the Easy Go bag. Super light, super comfortable, I carry enough. So for the discs, we'll start at the top. I carry my putters up top. So I putt with the pure still. I will go between the medium in the winter time and the hard in the summer and springtime when it's warmer, so I don't have to worry about that kind of nasty cold feel. So still always putting with pures. Main approach disc, soft Harp. This thing is ugly, it's beat up, it is warped, it is everything you could possibly imagine it could be, and it is wonderful for it. So the more warped, the better they get. They just drop out of the sky. They're perfect. They don't really bounce. They don't really roll too much. They just kind of hit, and that's about it. They're wonderful. My kind of throwing to straight putter would be the Gauntlet. I really love this disc. It is something you can put a little bit of hyzer on. It'll pop up and just kind of have a nice little slow, controlled turnover. Put a little bit more hyzer on it, and it's just going to hold straight. So I will drive with this. I will approach with this. I will do everything I want with this, and it does everything I want it to do. Great disc, the Gauntlet. And then one of the newest discs that I've kind of added, an overmold, the Seric. I didn't really think I'd be into these, but for some reason I just love this disc. It has the stability and the glide that you kind of want out of a Harp, but it's not a Harp, and it's got better glide. Really consistent. This Optout 2KG plastic is phenomenal. It's been in the bag since they've come out, and it really hasn't worn in, and I throw it everywhere. Anything for holes from like 300 feet and down, I'm throwing this as long as I want a little hyzer. Super straight with a touch of fade at the end, can't beat it. It's perfect for me. Kind of approach, mid-range shot, Suspect still. I go between the Suspect, and I'm going to be throwing in the Tournament Harp this year, seeing if I can kind of eliminate one of the two, but going between these two, Suspect and kind of Harp, is just kind of longer mid-ranges, longer approach shots, just get a little more distance out of them, and I'm not having to really crush it like I would from like a Gauntlet or a Seric. Mid-range continued. The Anchor. Love this as an overstable mid-range. These go, 330, 340, around that range. Just real straight with a nice healthy fade at the end. They're not going to go super far, but they go far enough, and they are extremely controllable and reliable in all sorts of situations, even when there's some headwinds. Probably the best mid-range out on the market would be the Compass. These things will do everything I want. I can put them on a hyzer, and they will hyzer. Throw them flat, they stay straight. Throw them a power up on that flatness, and it's going to have a little Annie. I can throw on an anhyzer, and it's just going to hold and pan the entire time. I cannot say enough about how much I love this Compass. These are my go-to mid-ranges, and I probably throw these most of the time on most courses out here in New England. Holes around 350 feet, I'm throwing a Compass. I get the most control. I want that Compass. For fairways, testing out the new Explorer. I'm really enjoying it so far. It's been flying really well for me, really straight with a little fade at the end. It's filling that gap between the mid-range and then it fills that gap between the mid-range and the culverin. That's what it is, it's speed 7. So it's fitting that perfectly, and that's what I think it's intended to do. It's not really supposed to go super far. It's not going to be the furthest flying disc for me, but I like that fact. I like that it's going to keep that same little distance range. So that brings me to the culverins. These things are the best fairway drivers, control drivers that I've ever thrown. They're speed 9s, they're super controllable, they're incredibly comfortable in my hand. They just fit my throw. Anything that I really find that I need control, tightness through the woods, even out in fields when it's within like 370 feet to 400 feet, I want to be throwing a culverin. These things, I love them. I love the culverin, and if you are not throwing it, do yourself a favor, try one out. Find a friend who has one and throw theirs. Buy one. Do something where you can get a culverin. You need this disc. You need to at least try it. They've got great glide. They will do amazing things for you. For me, I have this Optout one that will flip up and turn, which is pretty phenomenal. And then my gold line, which is a little domey, and this is my Overstable one, where I'll just hold a straight line and finish. By the way, if you need a die, go see Diesel Dies. Al Layton, he'll hook you up. This thing, pretty mint. All right. For Overstable fairways, I have the Triple X. This is just, you know, anytime I need some real hard cutting, don't want a lot of distance, but I want that cut, I'm going to go for that Triple X, get that hyzer. You're going to do yourself a favor, just throw more Overstable. You know, fight the wind. Why let it have that chance to kind of trickle off somewhere? Beef it up. And then I have the Felon. You really are not complete unless you're throwing a Felon. For some reason, this disc just does everything I want it to do, where the culverin will just glide and hold straight. The Felon will start biting off. So these are my main forehand discs, where, you know, 350 feet for forehand, boom, I'm going Felon. If I want a little bit less, I'll just power down on it and it will still do what I want. Still really good straight flights. I love me some Felon. Now, for the distance drivers, I kept it pretty simple. Pretty much go between defenders. I've got my flat one that I use for distance forehands, and I've got a nice domey one for overstable backhand shots. Between these two, this backhand, it will flip up and ride pretty far. This one doesn't flip up, just holds that flat line, glides and hyzers. So this is the hyzer bomber. And then the new discs, obviously the Ballista Pro. This thing comes out of my hand so incredibly fast. It flies fast. It will flip up just enough. It's a little beat up, so it's going to flip up, ride over to the right for me, and then it's going to come back and hyzer at the end, giving me a great S-flight. So players who the Ballista were a little too touchy, a little too tippy, even the Sheriff, if those are a little too understable for you, Ballista Pro is the answer to your prayers, because it's consistent enough where it's going to hold those flights, it's going to be overstable, it's going to finish, which is amazing. So you can trust throwing something hard, it will flip up, it'll ride, it'll make that S, but it's going to come back. So, Ballista Pro, these things are phenomenal. You guys at Latitude, you knock this out of the park. So, some other discs that I'll kind of throw in depending on situations. The Justice, because, you know, sometimes you just need more overstable. This situations, you need a really hard skips, or if I'm going out to someplace that's extremely windy, I'm just going to reach for the Justice. And then I will go with the Fortress if I need a lot of little kind of in between the Felon forehands, and if I need some little bit more length or a little bit more control than a defender on a forehand, I'll go for the Fortress. They're overstable, they're thin, they're shallow, they're perfect. I like the Fortress a lot.
No more than twice.
So that is my in the bags. 2 different bags. They both got rain flies. They both carry stuff I need. So nice and simple. Kyle Moriarty, Marshall Street Disc Golf, Latitude 64.